Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna tell you why 99% of agents who decide to cold call end up quitting and why they keep getting hung up on and yelled at. And also, obviously, I'm gonna tell you what to do so that doesn't happen to you. Before we get into that, make sure you download my new script book with all of the scripts you need to be a listing master. The link to download the new script book is in the description of this video, so make sure you grab that. Let's get into this. Obviously, if you are going to cold call, what you're looking for is someone who wants to sell their house or buy. We don't talk about buyers on this channel, except refer them to somebody else and keep focusing on listings. So when you are cold calling or prospecting, you are looking for someone who wants to sell their house, and naturally, it doesn't take a genius to figure out. It makes sense that you would call people who you know want to sell. For sale by owners, for sale. The house is for sale. Not only do they want to sell it, they're selling, and they don't have an agent and expired listings. They were just selling and now they're free to relist with somebody else. And what happens when you call for sale by owners and expired listings? Obviously, they have no idea who you are. They're getting calls from other real estate agents. They're not interested in speaking with agents. So they're going to give you a lot of objections. And they're the same objections 99.9% of the time. When you call expired listings for sale by owners, you're going to hear the same thing over and over and over and over. So on this video, I'm going to tell you the secret to actually not getting hung up on, engaging them in conversation, and setting an appointment. Let me give you the very first point to make this happen. Write this down. Get out of your head, and I mean it. And what I specifically mean by that is you cannot, when you're cold calling, let's say for sale by owners, expired is the same. Let's just use a FSBO as an example. They answer the phone. Hello, you're not used to doing this. You may be a little bit nervous. You're concerned about what to say. You're reading a script. This is not the time for you to be worried about what to say or whether you're going to know how to handle an objection. Stop thinking. Put all of your energy into listening to what they say and making them right about whatever it is they say. This is number one. You're not going to be able to handle objections effectively if the person you're speaking with doesn't feel like you're listening to them. And for them to feel like you're listening, it would actually help if you were actually listening and interested in what they're saying, and make them right. Whatever they say, I don't want to list with an agent, I don't want to pay a commission, I could sell it myself, I sold for sale on my own before, whatever they say, I have a friend in real estate, I don't care what they say, I'm not in a hurry. You need to make them feel heard and understood and validated. You can't make them wrong. They can't give you an objection and you say, but I can do a better job and I'd be able to do this and that, like talking about you or talking about your company and the exposure. That's not what you do. You hear an objection. Everybody wants to be right, and you got to make them right. So when they say I could sell it myself, you're going to say, absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind that you could sell it yourself. Now, stop and think about this for a minute, because this is something so simple. You don't even have to know how to handle an objection. All I'm asking you to do is just repeat what they say and agree, basically agree with them. what happens when you do this, and a lot of real estate agents have a huge challenge with this. I don't know why, because to me, this is a lot easier than memorizing an entire objection handler. I mean, what's the point? Like, meaning like a script for objection handlers. When you download my script book, you're gonna get actual objection handlers for the most common FSBO expired objections. There's so much information, so many great scripts in the script book for you. But 99% of the time, you're not gonna need them. There could be some exceptions where you might need to say something, but it's an exception, it's not the rule. And doing what I just said to you is a lot easier than using a script to handle an objection. So reason with me here, okay? When they say, I'm using this as an example, it doesn't matter what the objection is. When they say, I don't need an agent, I can sell it myself, and you say, I completely agree. I have no doubt in my mind that you could sell it yourself. What could they possibly say? To be honest, they won't know what to do with you. They're like, this is different than what every other agent has told me, because other agents will start talking about what they're going to do, what they can do, and how amazing their company is or their marketing is. And the seller's not interested. They're not going to actually listen to you until they feel like you've listened to them. And nobody likes to be disagreed with. So if you start talking about what you can do for them when they tell you they can sell on their own, you're basically disagreeing, because if you agree that they could sell on their own, you wouldn't be trying to sell your services to them. This is step number one. And I trust you're taking notes. Obviously, you could watch this again, because everything that I'm going to say to you today is pretty simple. So let's recap. Get out of your head. Don't be worried about what to say. Listen carefully to what they're saying. Make them right. Validate it. Agree with them. And then what you do is ask a question that would create some doubt for them about what they're doing. And the tonality with which you do all of this, not just ask this question. I'm going to give you examples of questions, okay? Be ready to write them down. Not just when you ask these questions, every step of the way, your tonality is actually more important than what you're saying. Because I'm going to tell you what to say, but if you say it with the wrong tonality, you are still going to get hung up on and yelled at, okay? And the tonality you want to have here is one of concerned. You're concerned for them, and you're interested in what they're doing and in helping them throughout. And obviously, you also want to sound interesting. If you're monotone and you sound really boring, it's not likely that a seller will want to give you an appointment and meet with you if you're boring them over the phone. So you have to be interesting in how you deliver the script. So let me give you a couple of examples of questions that would create some doubt for them about what they're doing. So after you made them feel right and you validated, you use the word "and" to connect what you just said to the question to create doubt. So you're going to say, "And Mr. Seller," use their name, "and Jackie, if I can show you a way where by working with me, you would be able to not only sell your home, because obviously you could do that yourself. You'd be able to sell it and actually net more money than if you were to sell it yourself. And if that was the case, would you be interested in knowing how that might be possible for you?" That's an example. Here's another one that I love. If there was a better way to get your home sold, wouldn't you at least want to know about it? That is such a hard question for them to say no to, because all of a sudden they're thinking, a better way? What do you mean by that? And that actually is something they could say. What do you mean by that? And you'd say, well, that is a great question. And that's exactly why I'd like to come by and meet with you for just 20 minutes so I can show you exactly how I can get this property sold for you in a way that it would be ultimately financially beneficial for you. Would you be available today around 3 o'clock, or would 4 be better? Now, I'm using FSBOs as an example here, and I'm using the net more money or financial benefit because that is the only thing FSBOs are interested in. They're selling on their own to save the commission, which would, in their mind, in essence, allow them to keep more money from the sale of their home. Who doesn't want the most money possible? So these questions to create doubt, to make them curious about what are you talking about, is your door to this appointment. And once they say, here, they could just say, sure, I want to know more about that. Yeah, come over at 3 o'clock. It could be that easy. Not every FSBO is going to say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, I don't think you could do that. A lot of them do, but some of them don't. If you actually do what I say, and you talk to enough FSBOs, you're gonna get an appointment just like that. And then you're not even gonna know what happened. I've had clients say to me, I used the script, and all of a sudden they said, sure, come over at 4. And I'm like, what do you mean? Aren't you giving me more objections? Because it was so easy. That is 100% possible. The same exact thing you're going to do with expired listings. Remember, nobody is going to listen to you if you don't listen to them first. Nobody wants to be wrong, so you got to make them right. This is just common sense. This is how communication works with anybody that you're speaking with. The only exception here would be if you're speaking with a new expired listing. It's generally a new expired listing, and they're just off the top hostile. And some of them may be if you're like the 50th agent to call them. This is why with new expired listings, which is just an incredible source of immediate business, you want to make sure that you are calling them at 8 a.m. local time, because the first agent that speaks with them is the one that is going to get fewer objections and have a higher probability of setting an appointment. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're the 10th agent, you're not going to be able to set an appointment. It's going to be a little bit harder. And after getting a lot of calls, these new expired stop answering the phone. I hear clients saying, and agents saying all the time, oh, they don't answer the phone. Well, that's because you're calling too late, and they've already talked to a bunch of agents and already set 1, 2, or 3 appointments. So you got to get on the phone at 8 a.m. local time. You're not going to be the first one with everyone you talk to, but if you start at 8 a.m. with new expireds, 8 a.m. local time, Monday through Friday, maybe even Saturday mornings, you could start maybe 8:30, a little bit later, you're going to have a much higher probability of setting an appointment and not getting a seller on the phone that's really frustrated and angry. They get angrier and angrier the more phone calls from agents that they get. And I would too, and I'm sure you would too. So make sure you follow these simple steps. Now, if you ever, which is rare, you need to handle an objection, my script book that you're going to download, link in the description, will give you a lot of great scripts for the most common FSBO and expired objections that you're going to hear out there. I trust this video is going to help you set more listing appointments so you can then pre-qualify them, go out and take well-priced listings, and have an amazing career as a listing agent. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.